ஆழ்வார் எம்பெருமானார் ஜீயர் திருவடிகளே சரணம். ஜீயர் திருவடிகளே சரணம். We have been going through some fundamental principles in our Sri Vaishnava Sampradayam. One of the important topics which often comes up is what are the duties of women, what are their anushtanams, and so on. Let us see that today. In our Sanatana Dharmam, Sri Vaishnava Sampradayam, Stri, that is ladies, they are considered to be the epitome of Paratantriyam, the ultimate manifestation of Paratantriyam. Paratantriyam means being totally dependent, being a servitor. We have heard about Atma. Atma has Paratantriyam as one of its main qualities. Atma is totally dependent on Bhagavan. Here all Atmas are seen as feminine in gender, and Bhagavan Purushottama is seen as the man, the supreme man. Now Atma Swarupam is Paratantriyam, Bhagavan Swarupam is Swatantriyam. So this quality of Paratantriyam, which is being totally dependent on Bhagavan, and Bhagavan having Swatantriyam, meaning he is totally independent, is very significant. And this quality of Atma is manifested by women in this world itself. This is particularly important to understand because as Atma, we all strive for Paratantriyam, to be situated in that ultimate state of dependence on Bhagavan. Being totally dependent or being a servitor is not a bad thing. If we are the servitor for the right person, that is Bhagavan, then it is all the more desirable. Now when we look at women and their anushtanams, as we see in Dharma Shastram, there are no specific separate anushtanams for women. They follow their parents or the husband after marriage. So when we look at women, we have to see that there are three categories. There are the unmarried girls, married women, and widows. So these three categories are present. First, unmarried women, unmarried girls, they are fully dependent on their parents and more so on Bhagavan too. Now all of these we are seeing as per Dharma Shastram, ideal Vaidika way of living. There may be differences in today's world, but we are seeing what is the ideal position. So unmarried women, girls, they are fully dependent on parents and more so on Bhagavan too. They follow the guidelines which are given by their parents. In our Sampradayam, the girls right from the young age should understand our Sampradayam, our Alvars, Acharyas. Some important prabandhams can be learnt, Stotra Granthams by our Acharyas, they can be learnt. So these are all to be learnt when they are young, and they have to develop jnanam and bhakti and vairagyam even from young age. After marriage, one should consider one's own husband as a representative of Bhagavan and follow him. Whatever karmanushtanams, Tiruvaradhanam and so on which are performed by the husband, that must be supported by the wife. This is the ideal position. They can also correct the husband when the husband is deviating from Dharma Shastram or regular anushtanams and so on. It is the duty of women to do that. We can see this from many examples. Even Sita Pirati, when Sri Rama was not doing his duty, it was Sita Pirati who ensured that Rama will fulfill his commitments. We see in the example of Kakasura. We know the story when Indra's son Jayanta committed a grave offense towards Sita Pirati, and Sri Rama got angry and he aimed the Brahmastram towards Kakasura, and Kakasura went around the world and finally fell at the feet of Bhagavan, lotus feet of Bhagavan. At that time, it was Sita Pirati who pointed that to Sri Rama and asked Sri Rama to forgive Kakasura and protect him. So this was done by Sita Pirati. Not just that, Sri Mahalakshmi Tayar always plays the role of Purushakara Bhutha, that is, the one who unites the Jivatma with Paramatma. We, all the Jivatmas, commit so many mistakes. But when you go and surrender to Bhagavan, and if Bhagavan looks at our mistakes and become angry, it is Pirati, Sri Mahalakshmi, who pacifies him and makes him forgive our sins and accept him. Even in the lives of our acharyas, we can see some examples. One striking example is seen in the life of Nampillai. Kandadi Tholapar was an administrator in the Srirangam temple, and he was a little bit jealous about Nampillai's fame. Once he commits an offense towards Nampillai and he returns home on that particular day. At that time, Kandadi Tholapar's wife, she was very clear in her mind that her husband committed a mistake. So she corrected him, forced him to go and ask for forgiveness from Nampillai. There are many such examples, but we've just seen a few to understand the point that women, she can correct her husband whenever he is deviating from dharmam. This is about married women generally. There is also widows, those who lose their husbands. To some extent, widows are similar to sannyasis. They live like renunciates. They give up all worldly attachments and dedicate their life towards Bhagavan. In the modern world, some of these may be seen as very old practices or even dominating women and so on. But these principles are common for every category, whether man or woman. For example, even a widower, a man who loses his wife, he cannot participate in certain yagams, he cannot take diksha in certain yagams and so on. So there are restrictions after losing one's spouse for both man and woman. Now there are certain common principles which are applicable for all women, that is constant remembrance of Bhagavan, constant engagement in learning Divya Prabandhams, Stotrams, and after Panchasamskaram one can learn Rahasya Granthams and master these. And they can also teach these to children and other women who are interested to learn these principles. So that is an important Kainkariam for women, developing good knowledge about Sampradayam and sharing it with others. It is also said that one cannot, as a woman, study Vedam. That is what Shastram says. One has to undergo Yajnopavitam, Brahmopadesham, and then only one can learn Vedam. Since this is not possible for women in this day and age, it is clear that they cannot study the Vedam texts. But the essence of Vedam can be understood and must be understood, and that can be understood from Alvar's Pasurams and Acharya's Stotrams. There are also other Kainkaryams women can engage in quite regularly, such as putting kolam, drawing rangoli in Sannidhis, teaching and guiding children from young age to be very good bhaktas, very good bhagavatas, mainly for home Perumal, for our Griharcha, Shalagrama Bhagavan at home. They can prepare taligai, that is, they can cook bhogam for them. That is also very much encouraged. We see even in the lives of Purvacharyas that women were engaged in cooking for Perumal at home. Bhagavan very happily accepts that. Also, from the daily routine perspective, after taking bath, they have to apply Tiruman and Sri Churnam, the Urdhva Pundram, the Tilak, in the traditional way. Modern bindis can be avoided. It is not standard practice. And during their activities such as preparing food, doing work at home and so on, they can also constantly recite Pasurams such as Tirupavai, Tirupallandu and so on. This will keep their mind engaged in Bhagavan always. Finally, one important point which is often asked, what about the monthly periods, menstruation days? What do they do? What can the woman do during that time? So we have to understand that each body has its own way of functioning. Male body is different from female's body, and this monthly periods is also associated with impurity. Now when we hear the term impurity, it need not be considered as something disrespectful or subjugating women or so on. Impurity is there in every one of us. the fact that we are in this samsara, material world, that itself means we have a impure body. Now we purify the body every day. For example, in the night we sleep, we wake up in the morning, until we take bath, we are also impure. So we don't go into the puja room, we don't go into the kitchen and so on before taking bath. Similarly, for women during these times, the monthly periods, they don't mix with others, they don't go into the puja room and other rooms. They remain isolated, they take rest because there will be some amount of fatigue during that time, and hence they stay alone and they engage with themselves, within themselves. It is not something bad, it has to be seen as part of life. As we, for example, when we have birth or death in our paternal family, at that time we have asaucham. Everyone has that period of contamination. At that time also we don't go and do puja, we stay away from mixing with others and so on. So this ashaucham or impurity is not a bad word, it happens quite regularly, quite often, and one such thing for women is this menstruation days. So during that time one can constantly try to remember Bhagavan, do meditation and so on, thinking about Bhagavan's divine names, reciting Bhagavan's divine names. Nama Sankirtanam has no restriction. Anytime Bhagavan's names can be recited. Pasurams, stotrams, we can think about them, we can meditate upon their meanings and so on. In the mind level there is no restriction. And one can also discuss with like-minded persons and learn more about our Alvars, Acharyas, Bhagavan and so on during this time as well. One more important aspect, the biggest responsibility of married women specifically is to ensure that their family is on track with devotional activities. It is the mother who gives the child very good foundation when it comes to devotional activities, knowledge and so on. So this is something to be considered as the topmost priority. Nowadays women may be even working outside and so on. They are all additional aspects. The main objective of the woman is to ensure that the children grow up as very good Vaishnavas, very good Bhaktas, Bhagavatas. It is often said that when a woman is knowledgeable, when she is devotional, that means the whole family will benefit out of that. So that is very important to consider. Alvar Emberumanar Jiyat Tiruvadigalai Sharanam, Jiyat Tiruvadigalai Sharanam.
To learn such valuable information about our Sri Vaishnava Sampradaya, please download Koyil, K-O-Y-I-L app from Google Play Store or Apple App Store. Our website is koyil.org, Koyil.org.